Thailand has the highest infection rate of HIV in Southeast Asia. So if you're planning a trip to Pattaya or Phuket or Bangkok, you've got to be careful that you don't end up taking something home that you can't get rid of. Over 1% of the population here in Thailand has HIV as of 2009, with 97% of new infections coming from male-to-male intercourse or male to transgender intercourse. That means that if you've had few too many beers and you hear, "Hello, handsome man," and the fella's 6'5" coming to you with massive rock hard fake ones on and a little bit of well, wrap it up. Otherwise, you might be ending up with HIV. This is definitely not something to joke about, guys. HIV is very serious. It is a problem all around the world. But seeing that Thailand is the highest proportion of people with HIV in Southeast Asia is quite shocking. I know that the restaurant Condoms and Cabbages, a Thai food restaurant in Bangkok, it was actually set up to try and combat things like HIV. They give out free contraception at the meal. But guys, just take precautions, be safe, and wrap up. God bless.
932,000 people have HIV in Thailand. Yeah, I bet you lot did not know that while you're all going raw. If you didn't know, Thailand has the highest rate of HIV in the entirety of Southeast Asia, which is absolutely mad because there's a lot of people going raw there. Let's just say that. So yeah, quite literally, the population of Thailand is 71.7 million, and it's literally 1.31% that have it. Like, over 1% is mental. So yeah, quite literally, this is the official statistic of people who have it in Thailand, which it might have gone up because obviously the population was counted in 2023 and the HIV was calculated in 2024. Now don't get me wrong, these probably are just locals, not tourists, and they're probably not even locals in the main areas. You know, they're not going to be in the big cities or the touristy spots in the south. They're probably going to be in rural Thailand. You definitely don't have over a 1 in 100 chance of it happening, but still, you lot going raw all the time are absolutely crazy. Now I know that the Johnnies there do rip pretty easily and they're also pretty tiny, but still, it's probably better safer to use them than it is to catch HIV. I mean, let's not even go into the gone or clap stats, shall we?
Hey guys, I know you guys saw my video, what happens in Dubai. Listen, let me make my disclaimer. That's not me trying to trash Dubai in any way. I think Dubai is amazing. It's a beautiful place full of good people and beautiful things. That was just me talking about one part of the dark things that happen that people don't like to talk about. But guess what? It doesn't just happen in Dubai. It also happens in Thailand. In 2012, some buddies of mine made a documentary about human trafficking and we went to Thailand. In Thailand, there's a red light district where you can actually purchase people, including younger children. This is true, this is facts, this is disgusting. In fact, some of the high-end hotels in Thailand offer it as a concierge service. When you tell them you want your car, your driver, your chef, whatever, they offer the services of other people, including small children, if that's your fetish. We met a 13-year-old prostitute who said she'd been on the street for 2 years, and she was working so her small siblings wouldn't have to. Her parents, nowhere to be found, they were abandoned. She said she had to work and get all the money she could because in 2 more years she'd be too old and they wouldn't want her anymore. She said at 13, she had been with over 4,000 men and she had full-blown AIDS at 13. She said most of her customers come from, you ready for this? America. Older businessmen from America, from London, from Korea, from all over the world. But she said the majority of her customers are American. Some of your doctors, some of your lawyers, some of your policemen, some of your judges, some of your fathers, some of your grandfathers, some of your big brothers are doing this in Thailand. This is disgusting and it has to stop. We got to bring attention and awareness to what's going on with human trafficking and people made to be slaves against their will. Somehow, some way, we got to bring a light to this and stop all of this craziness. This is going to be too much for one video. I got to drop a second part to finish telling you what our conversation with this girl was. It's heart-wrenching at a minimum. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys think about this madness.
How much your partner is? I got two.
So picture this. You're finally on that dream vacation. Sun, sand, cocktails of umbrellas in them, maybe even someone who looks like they just walked off a Netflix romance series. You're thinking, wow, life couldn't get better. And then, weeks later, back home, you realize, oh, life definitely got different. See, when we think of souvenirs, we imagine t-shirts, keychains, or maybe that weird statue you instantly regret buying at the airport. What we don't imagine, bringing home an invisible souvenir that requires a doctor's appointment and antibiotics.
All right, y'all, so to recap, we have a 26-year-old gentleman who presents to your ER after noticing that he developed a very strange rash. A few months ago, he states that he was overseas slanging schlong, having multiple sexual encounters with various women. Since this trip, he developed a painless lesion on his lip as well as his genitalia that went away on his own, and also developed a rash on the palms of his hands and the soles of his feet. Although there are several diagnoses to be considered, one diagnosis that I would be concerned about is syphilis. Syphilis is an infection that generally occurs in stages. The first stage, or primary syphilis, presents as a papule wherever the microorganism is introduced. This can occur by means of contact of almost any tissue with infected secretions, including oral sex, as well as kissing or touching a person who has active lesions on the lips, the oral mucosa, breast, or genitals. The lesion is usually painless, eventually ulcerating, forming what we call a chancre, which resolves on its own in about 3 to 6 weeks. Secondary syphilis occurs within weeks to months of the chancre, resulting in a rash that classically involves the torso, arms, and legs, but most importantly, the dead giveaway is involvement of the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. Now, tertiary syphilis usually occurs 10 or more years later, where you may have symptoms reminiscent of dementia, neurological changes, as well as diseases of the heart. Now, there are several screening tests available, including an RPR or a VDRL, as well as confirmatory tests. Let's not get too technical. With regards to treatment, you're typically looking at antibiotics, more specifically penicillin, benzathine, G.
And one more thing, I just said something that was very profound. Y'all are going to Thailand, getting HIV and bringing it back to give these young ladies in America? I get it, y'all don't want American women, but y'all men in your 50s and older, is that what y'all are doing? Why y'all don't want us women in our 40s and 50s? Beg you, no, please, don't want us, please. Ladies, they are going to Thailand, and over there, the women over there gladly giving them the H and the I and the D and everything else. And when they get it, they come back to America because they hate American women so much. They come and they give it to American women. Be very careful out there. And y'all can come for me in the comments. I ain't scared of y'all. Y'all can't beat me. I'm not scared of nobody. Yes, ladies, protect yourself. That's what they're doing. That's why they don't want us older women, because they can't trick with. Protect yourself.
I said it, man. I said it. How many times do I have to say it about coming out here to Houston looking for a relationship, man? Guy posted something on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. He moved here about 3.5 years ago, man, because he wanted to come to Houston to connect with a female that he met through Instagram. She looked good, standing behind a car, nice fitted outfit on, body was banging. Got here and found out that it wasn't what he thought it was. His story is that when he first met her through Instagram, that she claimed to be a nurse and going to school to own her own dentistry office or whatever. Get out here. A week after he moved out here, a week before she moved out here, she claimed that she lost her job. Her car was getting repoed or had got repoed, and that's just not the crazy story. After they started dating for a while, he noticed that she started disappearing from home a lot, and then when she would come home, she would have all of her friends over, and he didn't have a job, so he didn't have medical insurance or anything like that. He started messing with her, and everything was good. About 3 weeks into the relationship of him moving out here to Houston, he ended up contracting something that caused him to burn when he was urinating. We know what that is. That's that big G. You guys don't know what the big G is? That stands for gonorrhea. So he's online crying about that she burned him. He caught gonorrhea. He swore he never cheated on her. He didn't know anybody out here. Now that's 3 weeks after he moved out here. Now, come to find out, he's online saying that he has HIV symptoms, guys. It's a sad story to see this man on here crying like this, but it's real. And this is why I say, coming out here to Houston, man, trying to date, man, you're going to end up catching something that not even a doctor can get rid of. Now, in the video, he did say that he's healthy. He's taking medication that's kind of keeping it under control a little bit, but he's heartbroken because he said that she knew that she had HIV and she should have told him. I think that that is a crime. That should be attempted, you know what, because when you willingly know that you got a virus like that, you're supposed to tell partners, people that you're about to engage with, especially if it's going to be something in the bedroom. So now he has to live with this for the rest of his life. He also went on in the video to say, because he contracted what he contracted, there was no need for him to leave her because nobody else would want him anyway. Because he would have to expose the fact that whoever he talks to, that he is infected. So he is still with the lady, but this is the perfect example of what I was saying, guys. You cannot be coming out here to date if you're looking for a date. Come out here just to party.
Top 5 cities with the highest rates of STIs. Number 5, Baltimore. Number 4, Memphis. Number 3, Montgomery, Alabama. Number 2, Philadelphia. And number 1, Detroit, Michigan. Did your city make the list? Let me know in the comments.
Now, I tell you this story not to talk about women. That was just the story that I was giving you guys an example of. The men out here are just as worse as the women, man. Houston, if you look it up, the statistics is through the roof, man. The HIV rate just out here in Texas alone, mainly the Houston area, because the Houston area is where everybody migrates to because they feel like this is where all the men at who got money, the women who got the nice bodies and stuff like that. But it's not what you think, man. It's nasty out here. It's very nasty, guys. It is nasty. So I'm gonna say this. If you come out here and you plan on moving out here, bring your woman with you or meet you someone back home that you know of, because Houston is not the place to come and look for a date at, man. Like I said before, you're gonna either go broke out here, you're gonna be stressed out, and you're gonna get cheated on, I promise you. But it's a sad situation that this guy got HIV because he decided to come out here in Houston to date, man. Let me know in the comments what you think this guy should do. Should he stay with the woman? Should he left the woman? I mean, in my opinion, just in my opinion, I don't think it really matters whether he stayed with the woman or not. Nobody else is going to want him unless he gets with somebody who contracted the same thing he contracted. Thank you guys for watching.
This isn't just scare talk either. Real people have lived this, like the guy who spent all summer backpacking, only to return with something that wasn't in the Lonely Planet guidebook. Or the business traveler who thought one innocent night out wouldn't matter. Spoiler alert, it did. And the beach lover who thought paradise ended when the plane left. Turns out paradise followed them home, but in the form of medical bills. Now, I'm not saying don't have fun when you travel. Live your life, see the world, meet amazing people. But here's the kicker. Global travel is kind of like international shipping. You can get packages delivered fast, but guess what? Germs and infections ship even faster. And
not everyone is a sex worker in Thailand. I'm Joy. I've been living in Thailand for over 13 years since I was 16 years old, so I know what I'm talking about. Yes, sex tourism is a thing here, but not all Thai people are. If you don't know what it is, let's talk about it. Thailand is known a bit for its red light district. Now, I'm not advertising it, but Pattaya in Walking Street, Beach Road area, Bangkok in Pat Pong, which is like the Siloam area, Nana, Soi 4 area, and Soi Cowboy. And in Phuket, you're mostly going to see it around the Bangla Road area, Pat Pong. Those are the red light districts in Thailand. Now, I'm not advertising it, but those are the roads to avoid if you're a woman and you don't want to get mistaken for a sex worker, because a lot of men come here for this, and a lot of men that do come here for this are ignorant and assume that we are here for their pleasure. Even though I only named about 2 to 3 areas in these cities, they are highly visible areas. So tourists often mistake the nightlife culture for a representation of the entire country. And if you watch my videos, you know Thailand is so much more than that. More than just the mountains and greenery and Sabai Sabai, more than just a nightlife red light district, okay? There is an in-between. Yes, the industry exists, but that does not mean that every Thai person works within that industry. In fact, majority don't. Thailand's economy is built mostly on health and wellness services, exporting of like rice and rubber, tourism, of course, and agriculture. I'll leave y'all with this little tidbit. You remember my Aunt Tina from Phetchabun? Well, she told me that the farmers actually believe that the more sex you have, the more your crops will grow. Sexuality in Thailand isn't as taboo as it is in America. It's freely expressed. They believe that sexual acts can be linked to fertility of the land. And Thailand isn't the only culture to believe this. Okay, y'all? So the next time you think about Thailand and sex tourism, think bigger.
Hey guys, I know you guys saw my video, What Happens in Dubai. Listen, let me make my disclaimer. That's not me trying to trash Dubai in any way. I think Dubai is amazing. It's a beautiful place full of good people and beautiful things. That was just me talking about one part of the dark things that happen that people don't like to talk about. But guess what? It doesn't just happen in Dubai. It also happens in Thailand. In 2012, some buddies of mine made a documentary about human trafficking, and we went to Thailand. In Thailand, there's a red light district where you can actually purchase people, including younger children. This is true. This is facts. This is disgusting. In fact, some of the high-end hotels in Thailand offer it as a concierge service. When you tell them you want your car, your driver, your chef, whatever, they offer the services of other people, including small children, if that's your fetish. We met a 13-year-old prostitute who said she'd been on the street for 2 years, and she was working so her small siblings wouldn't have to. Her parents, nowhere to be found. They were abandoned. She said she had to work and get all the money she could because in 2 more years she'd be too old and they wouldn't want her anymore. She said at 13, she had been with over 4,000 men and she had full-blown AIDS at 13. She said most of her customers come from, you ready for this? America. Older businessmen from America, from London, from Korea, from all over the world. But she said the majority of her customers are American. Some of your doctors, some of your lawyers, some of your policemen, some of your judges, some of your fathers, some of your grandfathers, some of your big brothers are doing this in Thailand. This is disgusting and it has to stop. We got to bring attention and awareness to what's going on with human trafficking and people made to be slaves against their will. Somehow, some way, we got to bring a light to this and stop all of this craziness. This is going to be too much for one video. I got to drop a second part to finish telling you what our conversation with this girl was. It's heart-wrenching at a minimum. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys think about this madness.
In the last 8 months, Atlanta alone, have reported 20,000 HIV cases. I don't know how many times I can say this, but I'm going to say it every day if I have to. You need to keep your legs closed. I don't know what the hell is going on, but sex is not one of them things that you need to be doing. It's not worth dying for. And I don't care how good the medication is now. I don't care that it is now not a automatic death sentence like that as it used to be. I don't care. Keep your legs closed. 20,000 cases in the last 8 months in Atlanta. Is it worth? I wish I would even go visit down there. It is not going to happen.
STDs are running rampant in Houston. So the results that just came back in for the number of STD cases in Houston in 1 week. Chlamydia, 3,678. Gonorrhea, 2,955. Syphilis, 22,715 cases in 1 week.
Holy shit.
HIV, 17,272 cases in 1 week. Unknown, there's 5 unknown. So they're like, you have an STD? We don't even know what it is.
I'm not sure if some of y'all seen the video of the lady that is pregnant and supposed to give birth in 9 days. And she finds out from her husband's phone that this man has been sleeping with a prostitute and may or may have not contracted HIV. Now, when it comes to privacy, I completely understand that. But when it comes to health, that's just some shit we just don't joke about. That's just some shit that's not funny. Was it nothing funny about you going and stepping out on your marriage and sleeping with a prostitute? Was it nothing funny about you contracting an STD, giving it to your wife that's pregnant with your child that's supposed to be here in 9 days? I think 8 now at this point. I don't find none of that shit funny. People will sit here as grown-ass adults and play with other people's livelihood and then get offended and mad with the way the person reacts to it. This is why I'm checking shit. I don't care.
I found out I was HIV positive after noticing strange spots on my body and experiencing high fevers. It all started after a night out with my friend. I remember drinking a lot more than I should have. Things got so out of hand that I completely lost control of what I was doing. My friend tried to get me home safely, but we ended up arguing and she decided to leave. I stayed at the party with some other friends and eventually met this guy. He seemed fun and the last thing one remember was dancing and having a great time. The next morning, I woke up in his bed, confused and unable to recall most of the night. I left before he woke up, brushing it off like it was no big deal. I thought that night wouldn't have any consequences, but a month later, I started losing a lot of weight. I was constantly running a fever, had terrible headaches, and noticed strange spots appearing on my skin. That's when panic set in. Deep down, had a terrible feeling about what might have happened that night. I decided to go to the hospital, and that's when. Comment if you want to hear part 2. I found out I was HIV positive after noticing strange spots on my body and experiencing high fever. It all started after a night out with my friend. I remember drinking way too much, definitely more than I should have. Things spiraled so quickly that I completely lost control of what I was doing. My friend tried to get me home safely, but we got into an argument and she decided to leave. I stayed at the party with some other people and eventually met this girl. She seemed fun and the last thing I remember was dancing and having a good time. The next morning, I woke up in her bed confused, hungover, and with no clear memory of what had happened. I left quietly before she woke up, telling myself it was nothing serious. I thought that night wouldn't come back to haunt me, but about a month later, I started dropping weight fast. I was constantly running a fever, had pounding headaches, and weird spots started showing up on my skin. That's when I started to panic. Deep down, I had a terrible feeling about what might have happened that night. So I finally went to the hospital, and that's when. Comment if you want to hear part 2.
Guys, I don't know about you, but it seems like just about everybody that I know is sick right now. I had about 4 or 5 coworkers already this week call out because they were sick. My mom was sick a couple of weeks ago. She had influenza A. My wife was sick in the house. She was dealing with some aches and pains, headaches, body aches, and all the other sort. Everybody, please just take care of yourselves. Hopefully this all subsides soon, but there is something very troubling going on because it just seems like everybody is catching some illness.
And the problem isn't just individual. These little microscopic hitchhikers don't care about borders, customs, or your nothing to the clear line at the airport. They hop countries like they're collecting passport stamps. What started as a vacation fling can suddenly become a public health headline. But here's where we flip the script. This isn't about fear. It's about being prepared. Travel smart. Protect yourself. Think of safe practices as packing travel insurance for your body. Because let's be real, the only thing worse than flight delays is having to explain to your doctor why your souvenir requires a prescription. So the next time you're out there globetrotting, remember, postcards fade, souvenirs collect dust, but health, that's the one thing you actually want to bring home in perfect condition.
It is Sunday, August 27th. This week I found out that I have HIV. I was diagnosed on August 23rd. I was diagnosed. Today is my attempt at my first day out. I'm going to the movies with my friend. Had a really hard time with this. It was really hard to get ready. I don't quite know what I want to do with my story. I don't know if I want to share it. I don't know. My mind is 1,000 places at once. But I wanted to document this in case one day I do decide to share it so that this part of my journey is seen. I also just want to document this for my own self to see how far I come, because I know I have a life of trials and tribulations, and I know that this is important. This part of the story is important, whatever I make it. That's really all. I never thought I would be here. I never thought I would be talking and recording myself crying. It's not who I am. But I'm here. I'm at my lowest point. Well, I've been lower, actually, which is surprising. But I'm at a really big crossroad in my life. And I'm just here. And I'm thankful for that.
Antes de hacerlo, debes decir, muéstrame tus exámenes de VIH. Cifras de esta enfermedad han aumentado en el país colombiano y siguen en ascenso. Actualmente, cerca de 50.000 personas viven con la enfermedad en el país y los jóvenes entre 20 y 34 años son la población más afectada. Ante esto surge el debate sobre la responsabilidad de quienes transmiten el virus de manera intencional.
I had been dating him for over a year, from the beginning of our relationship. He always insisted we be intimate without protection. I kept saying no mainly because I was scared of getting pregnant, but after a year and 5 months together, I decided to give in. I thought I was giving him something special. Right after we were done, he turned to me with a strange look in his eyes and said, "Congratulations, now you have HIV too." At first, I laughed. I thought it was a dark, twisted joke. I couldn't imagine he was being serious. I didn't want to believe it, so I stayed. I stayed for 5 more years, until my body started to change. I had constant fevers, lost weight rapidly, and strange rashes started appearing everywhere. I finally went to the hospital and I'll never forget the moment the doctor looked at me and said, "You've tested positive for HIV." I was in shock. I immediately called him crying, and that's when he finally admitted it. He told me he had known all along that he got it from a previous girlfriend and that he made it his mission to pass it on to every woman he dated. He had already done it to at least 3 other women before me, and I was the 4th. Even though I was heartbroken, even though my world fell apart, I couldn't bring myself to report him because I loved him. Now I live with this virus, and every day is a battle not just physically, but emotionally. But I'm stronger now, and I share my story not for pity, but to warn others. Protect yourself. Don't ignore red flags, and please choose love that doesn't hurt.
Have you guys seen the new flesh-eating STD called diagnoses? Ironically, it's not even a new disease. It's actually been around for quite some time, but it is one of the rarest STDs, other than gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis that are more well known. But this disease is disgusting looking. All of them are, but this one in particular is starting to make its way with pictures around the internet. And it looks like nasty boils, blisters that have been busted open, but even like bigger, larger scale. And for me to you, this is a constant reassurance of clarity on why you shouldn't be cheating, why you shouldn't be out here just screwing anything, why you should make sure that you understand and you trust your partner, why you should clean your ass, and few other things. This is exactly why I'm single, and I would much rather wait for my lady, because I don't want to keep dealing with, or having to even think about dealing with the fact that the dating pool has piss, shit, vomit, excretions, all that in it. And so I encourage you, again, for any individual who is with someone, and you're loyal to that individual, please try to stick it out, communicate, work it out, because there's nothing out here for those who are trying to get relationships. I mean, it's serious. Like, it's like you're literally like picking from the trash can, of the dumpster. People are nasty. They're doing the nastiest things. It's very immoral, and I would not recommend it. So patiently wait, have discernment for that person, for who God's supposed to be sending you, because people are disgusting. That being said, have a good one.
Man, them folks just said down there in Atlanta, it's been 20,000 new cases of.
To be honest, I don't know what happened, but we need a redo.